Should the dismissal of an employee be always the first option for an employer in case of insubordination? Let's find out in this case. The 2000 MBA Championship Finals was supposed to be a showcase of grit, discipline, and championship heart. But in Game 4, one moment quietly shifted the course of the series and sparked a legal battle that would outlast the season itself. Alvin Teng, also known as the RoboCop, who is the father of basketball stars Jaron and Jarek Teng, was a key player for the Negros Slashers. Teng was struggling with his performance and was far from his usual standard. And before the final buzzer could sound, the coaching staff made a decisive call. He was pulled out of the game. What happened next raised eyebrows. Instead of staying locked in, Teng sat on the bench, untied his shoelaces, and slipped into his practice jersey, signaling, at least in the eyes of management, that he had already checked out. The tension carried over into Game 5. With the championship still on the line, Teng was nowhere on the court. He called in sick and did not play. For the team, this was the final straw. The Negros Slashers convened administrative hearings, giving Teng the chance to explain himself. After deliberation, the team made a hard decision to remove Teng from the roster. But the story didn't end on the bench. Teng took the fight off the basketball court and into the trial court and filed a complaint for illegal dismissal. The labor arbiter ruled in his favor, securing a 2.5 million peso award. The Negros Slashers refused to back down, elevating the case on appeal, turning a moment of missed effort in a championship game into a defining legal question on discipline, loyalty, and the limits of management authority. What began as a single substitution in Game 4 had now become something much bigger. The main issue to be resolved in this case is whether or not Teng was validly dismissed by the Negros Slashers. The Supreme Court ruled that the penalty of dismissal was too harsh. As an employee of the Negros Slashers, Teng was expected to report for work regularly. Missing a team game is indeed a punishable offense. Untying shoelaces when the game is not yet finished is also irresponsible and unprofessional. However, the court agreed with the ruling of the labor arbiter that such isolated foolishness of an employee does not justify the extreme penalty of dismissal from service. The Negros Slashers could have opted to impose a fine or suspension on Teng for his unacceptable behavior. Other forms of disciplinary action could also have been taken after the incident to impart on the team that such conduct will not be tolerated. The ruling of the Supreme Court in this case was echoed in subsequent cases as a thoughtful reminder that where a penalty less punitive would suffice, whatever missteps may be committed by labor ought not to be visited with a consequence so severe. It is not only because of the law's concern for working men, but there is, in addition, his family to consider. Unemployment brings untold hardships and sorrows on those dependent on the wage earner. The misery and pain attendant on the loss of jobs then could be avoided if there be acceptance of the view that under all circumstances of a case, the workers should not be deprived of their means of livelihood. Nor is this to condone what had been done by them. In short, dismissal is a harsh penalty. If at all avoidable, without oppressing the employer, it should be avoided.